We are Group 6, and we chose Sweden as our country for the Culture Research Project. My name is Amy Hartoon, and my group mates are Gina and Jennifer. This section of the slides is for my portion of the project. Generally speaking, Sweden has a much more feminine society. Gender roles are looser than they are here in the U.S., and society tends to be much more nurturing and caring. Citizens of Sweden care more about the betterment of others and of society than the betterment of oneself. Sweden's low masculinity score of 5 makes it one of the most feminine countries in the world compared to the United States score of 62. When doing business with Sweden or just interacting with a Swede, one must keep this in mind and know that the way we view success and the way we conduct our lives is a little different. To a Swede, just making sure everyone is equal and has a good life is a huge accomplishment. With the U.S. being more masculine, we are very competitive and our goal is to be number 1. Shown on the slide is the comparison of Sweden and the U.S. using Hofstede's categories. Not surprisingly, Sweden also ranks low on the Globe Assertiveness Scale. Sweden is shown in the graph as the backslash symbol, and they are in the lowest 27% of the assertiveness category, just slightly above Norway. This goes hand in hand with being a more feminine society. That doesn't mean that they're weaker or lesser than a masculine society per se, just that they have different goals. Swedes do not feel comfortable being highly assertive. They place more emphasis on being warm and cordial and are more likely to help others improve their quality of life. Swedes are known for being very punctual. It is considered very rude to show up late, and it's also considered rude to cut in line. This is most likely related to the feminine society standards, with everyone wanting more to be together and equal rather than being number 1. I find it interesting that Swedes are regarded as very cold and distant to tourists, but it is said that Swedes generally warm up to you once you get to know them. This notion contradicts the fact that they're supposed to be a warm and cordial culture, but in reality they're warm and cordial more to the people that they know rather than to a stranger. It's also considered polite to wait to speak rather than to cut someone off, which are good manners in the U.S. as well. As far as family goes, I found in my research that beyond immediate family, the bond was weak. They got together on special occasions and holidays, but other than that, didn't make it a priority to see one another. Finally, parents are apparently very open with their children. They want them to be knowledgeable about the world, and they'd rather sit and have a frank discussion about any topic than to have a TV show or someone else teach it to them. Sweden has a vast amount of historical landmarks and beautiful places to visit. Among the historical sites are Drottningholm Palace, Gamla stan, Kalmar Castle, Visby Medieval City, and the 1912 Olympic Field in Stockholm, which is pictured on the slide. The Ice Hotel, also pictured on the slide, is a hotel that is entirely made of ice and snow and is rebuilt in a different style each year. There are, of course, warm cabins available as well, and they are highly recommended if you're planning on staying for multiple nights. There is also the Botanical Garden in Gothenburg, and it claims to have over 16,000 species of plants. Among some of the most famous Swedish entertainers are the musical group ABBA, which has inspired a number of different creative works and groups to form, such as the A-Teens and Mamma Mia, which is a Broadway musical. Malin Ackerman is a famous actress seen in The Proposal and 27 Dresses, to name a few of her works. And Tove Lo and Robin are new artists to come from Sweden in recent years, with hits like Tove Lo's Stay High and Robin's Dancing on My Own. This slide shows the flag of Sweden on the left, as well as a map of the country on the right. 66% of Swedish citizens claim to belong to the Church of Sweden, but only 29% of Swedes claim to be religious. Usually, citizens go to church for weddings, holidays, and special occasions. A lot of holidays are similar to the ones that we celebrate in the U.S., like Christmas, but a few more uncommon ones are Ascension Day, May Day, Epiphany Day, and Boxing Day. Now, those are not specifically celebrated in just Sweden, but they are not widely known to us here in the United States. This section is Gina's portion of the project. Individualism is defined as the natural disposition for people to put themselves and their immediate family first, having less concern for the needs of society. Collectivism, on the other hand, involves more dependence on groups and group decisions, extended family, and the need of belonging to organizations and society. This graph shows that Sweden's individualism score is 71. Compared to the United States, with a score of 91, Sweden natives are somewhat more willing to have concern for society. Sweden is considered to have a high level of individualistic culture value on the Hofstede scale. Because of this, their collectivism score is considered to be at a low level. Performance orientation measures the development of performance and merit and indicates if people have enough strength and inspiration to continuously improve their performance. It was created by GLOBE, which stands for Global Leadership and Organizational Behavior Effectiveness. Sweden's GLOBE Performance Orientation score is 3.72 and is considered to be low on the ranking scale. Sweden does not place much emphasis on the idea of rewarding performance. In 2013, Sweden had a total population of 9,571,000 with a gross national income per capita of $44,760. In 2012, the life expectancy at birth was 80 years for men, 84 years for women. The probability of dying under 5 years of age is 3 per 1,000 births. The probability of dying between 15 and 60 years of age per 1,000 of the population was 68% for men and 44% for women in 2012. The life expectancy is about 82 years with an increase in 2 years for males and females from 2010 to 2012. Also in 2012, the total expenditure on health per capita was $4,158, and the total expenditure on health of GDP was 9.6%. The traditional home cooking is called husmanskost, which represents appetizing stews, roasts, and different types of seafood. The most favorable husmanskost is smorgasbord, or bread and butter table, which refers to numerous hot and cold dishes served as a buffet. Natives in Sweden are very fond of seafood, mainly salmon, and can prepare fish in more ways than any other country. To differentiate from other countries, Sweden natives pickle and preserve their food. They use fresh ingredients grown from their own homes, their sauces are rich and creamy, and they often use lingonberries. With a menu quite different from other countries, they also have special meals for different regions within the country. All Sweden natives complete their meals with Swedish rye bread. Coffee is the most common drink. However, natives also enjoy tea, milk, and Coca-Cola, and the water is safe for drinking. Alcoholic beverages can only be sold after noon on Monday through Friday and 1 o'clock on Sunday. Sweden is a sovereign state with one culture, one set of ideas, and one set of laws. It functions as a parliamentary democracy, and there are 4 levels of government: national, regional, local, and European. The European level formed when Sweden entered the European Union in 1995. There are 8 political parties represented in the Riksdag, which is the Swedish parliament. They consist of the Social Democratic Party, the Moderate Party, the Sweden Democrats, the Green Party, the Center Party, the Left Party, the Liberal Party, and the Christian Democrats. Sweden is a civil law country, and Riksdag is responsible for executing the laws of the land. Sweden is known as one of the most unionized countries in the world, with nearly 70% of their workforce being part of a union. There are 3 larger trade union confederations: the Swedish Trade Union Confederation, the Swedish Confederation of Professional Associations, and the Swedish Confederation of Employees. The current Prime Minister is Stefan Löfven, and under his supervision are 23 ministers. All of their names, photos, and titles are shown here. This section is for Jennifer's portion of the project. Sweden has a relatively low uncertainty avoidance score, meaning that they are more comfortable with risk and change than other countries with higher scores. Swedes are more accepting of ambiguous situations and are not threatened by change. This is a comparison of Sweden and the United States uncertainty avoidance scores. Sweden ranks somewhat high with their future orientation on the globe scale. They are concerned with investing for the future and are not as concerned with instant gratification as some other countries. The United States' future orientation score is 4.15 compared to Sweden's 4.39, making Sweden more preoccupied with investing for the future, but not by much. The main modes of transportation are by car, train, and public transit, as shown in the pictures below. Sweden has been a member of the United Nations since 1946 and has been a member of the World Trade Organization since 1995. Their logos are shown here. Shown on this slide are Sweden's main imports and exports. Their main trading partners include Germany, Denmark, the UK, and Norway. Sweden has $154 billion in imports and $165 billion in exports. Shown on this slide are a few official websites for more information about Sweden. Finally, these are the references we used to get our information for the project. They are categorized as Amy's references, Gina's references, and Jennifer's references. Thank you so much for your time. We hope you enjoyed our project and maybe learned something that you didn't know already about Sweden.